So this makes me so happy. I love these guys, man. They are back.
Yeah.
They are back in San Diego performing at the American Comedy Company tonight and tomorrow night.
Woo.
The fantastic Sklar Brothers.
Yes.
Back in San Diego.
You guys,
Feels so good.
Following Sublime. We always like to follow one dead musician.
That's
and we're good to go.
That's really cool.
I just love that you guys are
And
so...
we are practicing Santeria once again. I need to mention that.
We're back on. We're back on.
Yes. Welcome back.
It's
Thank
so
you.
good. We were listening to you guys as we were coming on in, and
nice.
the Grammy talk, very
yes.
inspired.
Controversial.
I mean, I'll say this. Jay and I are big Steely Dan fans.
Sorry, Thor.
But this is the thing I can't stand is that like Steely Dan was great in the 70s and the albums they put out, I would say go back and listen to Can't Buy a Thrill. It's one of the best first albums that any band's ever put out. Their albums are great. But whatever thing they put out opposite the Eminem album is not great. You can't give it to them just because they're Steely Dan.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You've got to give it to the song. To me, I never understand. They're like, this is album of the year. This is record of the year. I'm like, I don't know
What's
what's
the
difference.
What's the difference?
Now, did you know that Smash Mouth won CD of the year this year?
But just the terminology is weird, and it's nuts. Our friend is writing for the Grammys. She's she writes for a bunch of awards and stuff.
Really?
So she was like writing, and she's like, "Hey, we're gonna do this open. Do you guys have any thoughts about it?" And we like pitched a couple of things that hopefully we'll see what happens.
So Alicia Keys going to be up there doing your stuff.
Maybe.
Hopefully. Alicia Keys, so here's my Alicia Keys story. This is the craziest Alicia Keys story. It has nothing to do with me. I never met her. I would always want to meet her. She's beautiful and talented and amazing. So a few years ago, I have an English Bulldog now, and I had one like 7 years ago that passed away. Great, great dog. Really sweet. And this dog never did this ever. So my wife and I are watching Alicia Keys on the Grammys, and she's incredible. This is like maybe 10 years ago. And she's playing this thing. Our dog, who had never watched TV ever in his life, she starts playing. Our dog gets up from where he's sleeping and snoring and farting, walks over to the TV and sits down and watches her. I've never seen him do this ever.
Like transfixed.
Watches her entire song.
Wow.
She gets up to leave. He gets up and goes back and lays down.
That's all we needed.
Alicia Keys can talk to the animals.
Awesome.
Number one fan.
Yeah.
Wow.
I couldn't believe that.
That's
I was
incredible.
like, she's got
The original Doolittle.
Listen,
She's do a lot.
yeah, there you go. If you've never seen the Sklar Brothers perform, I'm telling you, you're missing out. The banter, the rapport that you guys have on stage it's remarkable. It's like again, you guys are twins, so
It comes from the womb.
it really does. It really does. It's remarkable. American Comedy Company. Please go see these guys. I'm telling you right now, they get the Eddie seal approval.
Thanks,
They're
man.
fantastic.
Thank you.
That's a
That's
big deal.
huge.
That's a big deal.
I'll
It is.
take
It's
it.
massive. It's
It's
massive.
so fun coming in here and just goofing around with you guys.
Yeah, I know. I've missed you guys.
Well, we
And
do a
so-
lot of radio all over the country, and it's like,
Amazing.
I'm not just going to say this. You guys are. It's some of it is really rough, but then you come in and you see your old friends, and it's just
all good.
enjoyable. It's
I
like
love
it's
it.
a blast.
I love it, man. So, how's life been? You guys just doing parent stuff? and
Parent
things like that?
stuff. Our kids are getting older.
Yeah.
My daughter started high school this year, which is
No.
insane.
Wow.
My oldest daughter did, and so we cleaned out her bookshelf to just from all the books like we used to read when they
Right.
were little. She had all these
One
like
fish, two fish.
right. So you're really in these books, and I'm
What
like,
you realize is when you have little kids, you don't care what you're reading them. You
just want to get them to sleep,
Yeah.
get them down.
So true.
Accurate.
So
Put
true.
them down.
Yeah.
Put them down.
Yeah.
Put them down.
There you go.
Not like a horse with a broken leg. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Put him down.
I get that.
Put them down. Put them down, narco style.
Put her down. She just got up 20 minutes ago. Put her down. Get her down. You just want them to take naps.
Right.
So there was like a whole shelf filled with fairy tales. And I'm like, okay, we're writers. Fairy tales are these have stood the test of time.
Sure.
So I go back through and I'm reading these fairy tales.
They're
I'm-
insane.
They're so inappropriate for kids. The stories are ridiculous.
Yes.
They read like police blotter in the state of Florida. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's scary.
If you were to put
bad.
the phrase "a Florida man" or "a Florida woman" in front of the plot of a fairy tale, it makes sense.
Yeah, Florida woman breaks into a house, eats their food, breaks a chair, is found sleeping in one of the beds.
That's so
I've read that news story.
That's
I
so
believe it.
true. That's
Yep.
Goldilocks,
works.
meth, and Tampa Bay.
That's a great point.
Florida man kisses a dead woman, then tries to marry her. That's ecstasy in Orlando.
It just makes sense.
Yep.
It just makes sense.
It all works.
It all works.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So I mean, like that's we're trying to be good parents and trying to be receptive. That's the beauty thing of comedy is like you just have to keep your eyes open to anything that you do.
Live your life. You have to live your life.
Usually, if you're having a bad time or if something is really making you upset, it turns into a great bit.
Yeah,
That's it.
It's true. I mean, that's what we do,
Right.
Every
you
single
live your
morning.
life, and you're like, what happened to me?
Exactly.
I broke up with someone. How am I behaving right now?
Or if you go visit someone unannounced, right?
Like I did,
Just
yeah.
Like you did.
hypothetically.
Hypothetically.
If you were crazy enough to do
If
that.
a person in an Eli Manning jersey were to hypothetically go.
Right.
No, but like if that experience goes great, then okay, fine, you have like a real nice, heartwarming
beautiful
story.
story.
If it goes terribly, then you have the funniest story
That's
ever.
the greatest thing ever.
You know,
the
Not to
morning-
him, but to us.
Oh.
It's hysterical.
But to him, eventually,
Yeah, now it is.
Yeah.
Now you
a couple
understand.
years ago, not so much. I remember that morning, I got up at like 5 a.m. I'm in the shower, and I remember saying, this is going to go one way or another. There's really no gray area.
None.
But I'm like, there's no way it could go bad. There's no way.
Just the sentiment alone of you traveling across
That's
the
what I
country.
thought, Eddie.
And it went.
Did you travel? Were you like that female astronaut who traveled across the country in a diaper
And
because
then
she
peed
didn't?
herself?
Yeah, in a diaper.
On a plane. He
Yeah,
did that
because
on a
she's like,
plane.
I don't want to even stop to go to the bathroom.
Yeah, did you have any lie with you just in case?
Just
you
in
didn't
case.
know that?
No, I did fly straight right through. Direct. And then I landed, rented a car, thank God. I was going to Uber it because in my mind I'm thinking, there's no way she's going to kick me out.
No.
But we just broke up a couple months ago.
The Uber is a rough one because then you got to wait. And they're like, wait, it said 7 minutes. Now it's 10 minutes. What's going on?
So I get there, and she's shocked to see me.
Of course.
And
she is.
she barely will even let me in, and it's raining. And I finally get in. The first thing she says to me is, "You're not staying here."
This is
First
an
words.
Eminem song.
You're right yourself.
It didn't end with me killing her, though. That's it's not an
Thank
Eminem
God.
song.
So it's more like an Adele song.
Just really sad.
I just came by to see how you were doing across the country. Just make sure you're okay.
Sklar Brothers are performing at the American Comedy Company tonight and tomorrow night. Now, are you guys still doing the podcast in the podcasting world?
We do Dumb People Town. That's our podcast where we analyze dumb behavior because we do believe the world's getting dumber.
I don't know. Do you
No
guys believe
question.
that?
Yes.
Dumber.
I truly do believe it's because of technology
Technology,
phones, and all that stuff.
Yeah,
People don't
because-
read books.
No.
They don't do that anymore.
Autocorrect.
Autocorrect. You don't have to learn how to spell. You don't have to do handwriting. None of that
Math,
stuff.
nothing.
Math. None of it.
Like, there's obvious dumb. The obvious dumb is like the guy who got like pulled over by the cops and he had sex toys in his glove compartment. He had a rattlesnake in a cage in his backseat, and he had enriched uranium in his trunk. That's a lot of stuff.
That sounds like Dario. That's
we're
our
like,
guy right there.
This guy is it really? Jesus.
Yeah.
So we're like, okay, that's a lot of stuff. We're like, what doesn't he have?
Yeah, right?
What doesn't he have?
A relationship with his father.
Custody of his kids.
A day job.
A GED.
His dignity.
So, like, we break down stories like that on the show and break them down with friends. So, Dumb People Town's out. And then we do a sports podcast, sports comedy podcast that drops every week called View from the Cheap Seats, which is really fun, too. We
Right.
just had Ben Bailey from Cash Cab. That episode drops today.
nice.
Oh,
Such a good dude. So, it's just fun. So, we're doing those things. Wrote a script for CBS, like a half-hour comedy that we'd be to have small parts in, but we're waiting to find out about
Oh, that's
that.
cool.
Awesome.
In the mix, in the game.
Yes.
In the game.
I love
Just
it, man.
trying to do it.
Staying busy.
Now, what was the deal with the story you guys recently told about being switched
Oh,
at
this is crazy.
birth?
So this was on This American Life last week, which was that when we were 6 weeks old, our mom took us to the doctor for a 6-week checkup. We couldn't tell each other apart.
If I look back at pictures, I'm like, I have no idea.
Really?
I have no idea who I am in that picture.
So
That's
she-
insane.
Wow.
She hadn't taken us really out of the house yet for like an outing because she was overwhelmed and 25 years old and had these twins.
Right.
And so her sister-in-law gave her the nicest outfit she had were matching. So the only way she could tell us apart were from our diaper pins. She takes us to the doctor and she goes through the whole checkup, and the nurse says, let me take them and I'll weigh them for you, and takes us like in the hallway behind her while she's talking to the doctor. And to do a nice thing, Pampers had just come out. She takes off the diapers. She puts the pins in a bag. I'm like, who is this idiot? She hands our mom us and said, I thought I'd put them Pampers on because I thought that'd be nicer for them. My mom was like, you did what? What the F did you do with these kids? She brought us home and just sat us on the couch for like hours and freaked out and was like, I don't know
who's who.
Yeah.
So
who's who?
So our dad, luckily and in a cool way, she said to our dad, didn't lie to him about it or anything. Yeah. And he's like, I think that's Randy and I think that's Jason. And she's like, I think that's that too. Yeah. So then like we were probably 12 and we were down at the Lake of the Ozarks. We grew up in Missouri and our mom was telling her best friend, our Aunt Linda. She was not really our aunt. The best friend is that. Yeah. So she's telling Aunt Linda, the story and we overheard it and we're like, wait, what? We're like 12 years old. We're like, you got to go to the police. We got to figure this out. We got to get fingerprinted.
That might not be me.
And our mom, in a move that we now only understand as parents today, she was like, yeah, okay, we'll do that.
Well, how about we talk about this when we get home?
And then we never talked about it again. She just very brilliantly kicked it down the road and we never talked about it. So then we were like 40. We're like, we should probably figure this out because there is a way to do it. We got footprinted when we were kids.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You get footprinted when you're a kid, and we're like, if we can find those footprints, maybe the hospital still has the records. We could do it now and just match them up. So we call the hospital, and like after the woman laughed at me she's like, there's no way we keep records more than 30 years. She just laughed at me. I was like, okay, I guess we're never going to find out. Yeah. So then I'm home this past summer, and I'm like digging through this little chest by my bed, our childhood bed, and I see this like photo album, and I open it up, and there's a manila envelope, and I open up the manila envelope, and I see the souvenir footprints. I'm like, oh my God, we could figure this out if we really wanted to. And we knew some people at This American Life, and they've wanted to do a story with us, and we called them up. We're like, okay, we could figure this out. We would go through it with you guys, not knowing, literally, not knowing. So we went through this whole thing. We went down to like a fingerprint, like forensic specialist down in Orange County.
Is there nerves at this point?
Yes. So many nerves. And what was crazy is we called the guy. He was an ex-cop, and he's like, send me the footprints. He's like, I'm going to tell you right now, before seeing them, I don't think it's going to work because these are mementos. These are not like set up by the police department. Yeah. This is like some nurse who's probably smoking while they're in the hospital.
Slap paint on your foot and just press it down.
Right? You step on a stamp and then you put on the thing. And so we sent him the stuff, and he called us back, and he was like, there's enough detail in one of the images.
That's all you need, right?
That's
all you need is one.
In Jason's foot. So we went down there. This American Life is recording us as we're talking. It was crazy. It was.
And then we put our foot up on this guy's knee who I've never met before.
By the way, it's such an intimate thing. It's like my naked foot on this guy's leg, and he takes the thing, and then they say walk around the neighborhood for an hour, and we'll have the answer. And we come back, and the whole time. Meanwhile, the whole time, as we were doing it, I'm like, oh, this would be interesting. And again, it's not like our whole lives would shift. We were only 6 weeks old, but I would have had his social security number. He would have my social security number. I would have been committing low-level fraud for my entire life.
Oh my gosh.
Every time you want to push it away and say it's nothing, then so we go through the thing. And I am not going to tell you the answer. You have to listen to this. You have to listen to it. Now you got to listen to it. Now you got to listen to it.
You know what? We'll announce it at the end of each of our shows at the American Comedy Company.
You have to go now. You have to go now. American Comedy Company. Go check out the Sklar Brothers. Awesome seeing you guys.
Thank you guys.
Right
Keep doing it.